With the continued expansion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC properties, more and more superhero movie and television content is being pumped into screens almost non-stop. New genres and formats are being explored and countless characters are being brought into live action. So, we should be at the peak of the age of superhero movies, right? Unfortunately, it seems we have sailed right on through the golden age of superhero movies that took place in the 2010s. This feature could not function without describing the massive and crucial impact that Marvel Studios and the MCU had on the superhero genre. However, other films began paving a path before 2008's Iron Man. DC had been producing films, particularly based on Batman and Superman properties, for decades that had a clear cultural impact. Marvel, through Sony or Fox, had major hits like the Spider-Man and X-Men franchises. While the superhero movie genre had been present for some time, the MCU was the undeniable spark that caused the concept of the superhero movie to explode. While Iron Man was the first of now many films in what became the MCU, the whole franchise did not pick up an insane amount of steam for several years. The early Phase 1 movies were, overall, okay. They existed as origin stories. But the superhero origin story had already been done nearly 3,333 times before. Everything changed when Avengers was released in 2012. The crossover aspect is undeniably one of the key, if not the key, components that changed the way audiences engaged with the genre. While other superhero movies still trickled out around this time, no other franchise was combining 4 other franchises into one mega franchise. The MCU was surely not the first to invoke the crossover strategy, but it certainly was the first to employ it on such a large scale. And luckily, Avengers was a smash hit and will remain one of the most culturally significant films of the early 21st century. Movies stopped becoming just movies. They were entire events and spectacles that transcended just a single film. At this point, franchise became the business term, while universe because the one fans experienced. The Infinity Saga experience, frankly, cannot be surpassed. The post-Avengers excitement leading the Avengers Endgame was the definitive golden age of superhero movies. During this time, millions and millions of fans waited feverishly for the 1 or 2 movies the MCU dropped each year. Easter eggs and cameos felt like invaluable treasures as people started to stitch together this rich, magical, fictional universe that entertained them like no other. The promise of some ultimate finale to the saga being lived through buoyed even some of the weaker installments. And boy, was that finale spectacular. At this point, there is no reason to overanalyze Avengers Infinity War or Endgame anymore. Regardless of contemporary or retrospective reviews or criticisms, virtually everyone who was a fan during that time can tell you those films were the hype of all hype. The iconic moments from those films we still conjure up frequently were the fruition of 11 years of storytelling, and every bit of the event was stylized as the definitive and ultimate moment of the unprecedented sensation that was the MCU. Of course, the MCU did not stop. In fact, it is producing content at a rate that would even a 2018 fan would never believe. More characters that comic book fans never thought would ever make it to live action are now here, living amongst the universe we feel we grew up or grew old in. There is something to be said, though, about the onslaught of content, the ever-warned of superhero fatigue, that some spoke of a decade ago may actually be creeping in. With often little to no chance to take a breath between MCU projects, each one has the potential to feel less and less special. The anticipation for the next project has waned. Now it is difficult to take in the entire MCU given how many hours of content exist. A casual fan may very well be overwhelmed, and new fans may have no idea how to actually get involved. Old fans may have had to abandon their annual MCU rewatch. And there you have it. Whether we're witnessing the end of a golden era or just the calm before the next big bang, one thing's for sure: superhero movies aren't just films, they're modern myths. But what do you think? Is the superhero genre fading or evolving? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're reading every single one. If you love diving into this topic, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns, bold takes, and cinematic deep dives. Smash the bell so you never miss what's coming next. Because whether it's the end or a rebirth, we'll be here, watching it unfold. This is the Popcorn Perspective. See you in the next one.